Greetings and salutations. Welcome to episode 125 here on Ref the District. I'm Nathan Perry. That's the Stoner, and that's Trev. And we've got a doozy of show for you here today. Dotson said some amazing things about our QB1. We'll be talking about that in the cool down. During the game, is it going to be Chase or Montez Sweat that gets the payday here for the Washington Commanders? We're going to debate who's going to have the better season and who should get paid right there in the game. And the warm-up that's brought to you by Don't Sleep Energy. We're going to be talking about the last time the Washington franchise, back then they were the Washington Redskins, had 11 plus wins, and when will be the next time that they break it? Spoiler, this season. All right. Don't Sleep Energy. Head out to dontsleepenergy.com. Use the code RefTheDistrict. Get yourself 10% off your entire order. That's both all the wonderful gear that they have and their amazing energy drink. It's the only energy drink here on Ref the District. You can see it right behind Stoner there. That's the sugar-free. That's our preferred one.
Good stuff.
Don't sleep. Be great. Dontsleepenergy.com bringing you today's The Warm-Up here on Ref the District. Of course, we stream live here every Wednesday at 7:30 on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. And then we're on your favorite audio platforms. Wherever you catch us, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and as always, be great and be a fan here. We got Tommy T already in here, TJ in as well. As you get in, make sure that you let us know that you're here and let us know your thoughts on when Washington is going to get their next 11 plus win season. Last time they had one, gentlemen, was the last time they won the Super Bowl.
Okay.
It was in 1991. Trev, you were probably just out of diapers.
4 years old.
Yep. Still probably bedwetting at that point.
Probably.
Still bedwetting. Rumor is he's still bedwetting.
Huh?
I've heard it.
Huh?
Mama Stores tell you something there?
You got some sources right there?
I got sources.
So, gentlemen, 1991. By the way, Washington is the only team on this list that's in the 1900s. Every other team has had a winning 11 plus wins since 2000. I think 2001 is the next one up there. I'm double checking my math. It looks like it is even sooner than that. 2008 for the Dolphins.
2007 for the Jags. I see. 2007 for the Jags.
Yep, 2007.
That was Saxonville. They were that year.
That's 16 years between Washington and the second worst or the second
so
longest.
A kid born after Washington's last or during Washington's last 11 plus win season was driving a car by the time the Jags won theirs.
Yeah.
That's how big of a difference there was between those. That's insanity.
That's pretty sad.
That might be that of all the statistics that we talk about on here, that might be the most shocking statistic. And we all kind of knew that, but we just never put two and two together that these other teams have done it well before or in the most recent times. 1991 is the last time.
Who's quarterback?
That was ripping.
That was their Super Bowl winning season. That was historically one of the best teams ever. They had a dominant defense. They had an offense that was just off the charts in both on like box score metrics and efficiency metrics. I mean, that team was just a juggernaut. And one of the best teams of all time there. Gus Bus, I agree with you here. This is probably the stat that is most indicative of how poorly this franchise has been run is the fact that it's been 32 years.
Oh my gosh.
32 years.
Some of these teams that you look at, the Lions who are just a historically bad franchise, the Browns, they've done it. The Lions did it in 2014. That's not even that long ago. It's less than 10 years
9 years ago, yeah.
Oh my goodness.
2020 for the Browns. The Browns have been historically bad. The Buffalo Bills, by the way, the team that Washington beat that year in the Super Bowl, had it in 2022, just this last year. They probably had multiple in the time that this gap has been.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and they-
Washington, hasn't had one in 32 years.
Yeah, that's crazy. And that 91 team also, like you were saying, the offense, of course, was off the charts. Great.
I mean,
But that defense, I believe, did they not have like 3 shutouts that
3 shutouts. I think there was a back-to-back shutouts if I remember that. I was 6 years old at the time, so
I was in my 40s, I think, in 1991. So yeah, I was an old man at that time. No, that's crazy that it's been that long. I can't even think.
There's one common denominator of reason why.
Okay.
It's been like that.
What is it?
Ownership.
All right. Now that's fair. But however, Dan didn't come in until 2000, 2001, whatever the year that was.
He bought the
99.
team.
So it's like 10 seasons, Trev, that they had.
It's been 32 years since we have 11-win season.
Yeah.
And then he was owner for 30 plus years. I mean,
25
season, but
I get it. You're right. I'm not trying to let him off the hook with that, but there was 10 years there after that.
You can live with 10 years, but then 30 plus years.
Woo, yeah, I mean,
who's the team at 10 right now?
He's. I mean, you just mentioned the Lions. That's
Lions,
9 years away.
The Broncos at 15, Raiders at 16.
How about the Jets? The Jets at 2010.
Yeah, So
the Jets have been awful for years.
That was probably Mark Sanchez years when he led him to
championship years.
Yeah, like 2 or 3 in a row or something like that. Yeah, man. Yeah. Crazy.
Can't wait.
Jay pointing out that the last 11 plus win seasons for the rest of the NFC East, the Giants in 2016, Cowboys last year, Eagles last year.
That's crazy. It's sad. It's crazy.
Wait a minute.
What, Trev?
The Cardinals in 2021 had 11 wins.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, man, Kyler Murray was
balling that
year, man.
Remember, I think they started off really hot. Like, weren't they? They were right
7-0 maybe.
Yeah, they were right behind the Eagles that year. I think.
Remember that?
Yeah, they were balling
the Steelers
that year.
or something like that. I think it was the Steelers, right? It was that year. Was the 10-0 Steelers that Washington beat? The Cardinals were right there with them, and then I think they lost 6 of their last.
They tanked after that.
Like 10 games or something. It was awful. Yeah,
they went 7-0.
Yeah.
And then Green Bay beat them, and then they won. I don't know. They were 11-7 that year, but they were 10-2 also.
At one point. Oh wow.
They were 10-2 and then hit the brakes hard. Yeah. Now let's get back to Washington here. So it's been 32 years, gentlemen, since the last time they had 11 plus wins. What's the likelihood that they get to 11 this season?
I mean, I'm worried about getting called out for being a hater, and
here we go.
It's not this year.
I hold on. Would you put money on that, Stoner?
On them not doing it?
On them not getting to 11 wins?
Yeah, I would put.
Okay, everybody, I'm just going to let you know that Stoner is on a historic bad ride right now in his bets. Like 25 in a row are we at now, Stoner?
Yeah.
26.
26.
However, the thing about that is I'm always going for the big hit. I'm going for the big underdog, the big plus number. I'm just trying to make a big score. So I'm not like... You see the stuff I put on the ref account where I'm talking about what you should do with your bets. I don't make those bets though, because they're kind of like easy winners. Like when I said, I'm emptying my entire FanDuel account on the Nuggets to win the series against Miami. But I didn't actually put my entire FanDuel account on it because that wouldn't have paid back much. If I'd have bet $100 on it, I would have got like,
what was it? That one guy who put down like a ridiculous like $50,000 to win like $100 and he ended up losing it. You don't want to be that guy.
Yeah, I didn't want to be that guy. So I trust me when I say this. When I feel it, when I have the right tingle, then I know I'm usually pretty spot on. And I'm sorry, I'm not trying to be a hater. I just don't think this is the year they're going to get to 11 wins. I would love them to. I don't see it. When you look at the schedule, I don't see 11 wins there.
There's certainly a lot of unknowns. I mean, the smart money is that they're not going to get there, right?
Like, what is the Vegas numbers? What are the over?
I think 6.5 wins, right? Is what they've got at Washington, and most people are smashing the under. Right. Trev, be the optimism I need here.
Dog. Yeah, we can get 11 wins.
All right.
I mean, we have the tools. New ownership's coming in. Eric Bieniemy's there. We have a confident quarterback. It seems like based off one game, but he showed he's competent. We've got weapons to help him out to build continuity. Our defense got stronger, I think, in the offseason by letting some people go and adding Emmanuel Forbes and rotating some players. Chase Young is back. We'll get to him soon. I just think that we have the capability of doing that. Like we could maybe have an Arizona Cardinal year in 2021. Start off 6-0, 10-2, and then 11-7. Mm-hmm. But hey, it's 11 wins still. So I'm optimistic.
I think it'd probably be the reverse, right? Historically, Ron Rivera's teams start off slow, unless you're going with the 15-1 Carolina Panthers there. The last two 10-win seasons that Washington had were, of course, 2012 and RG3's rookie year. This is essentially, a lot of people like to say that this is essentially Sam Howell's rookie year. Maybe there's that excitement and they get pretty close, maybe hit that 11-win mark. And then 2005, they were 10-6 under Joe Gibbs with Brunell and Moss and Portis. That was pretty exciting. I loved that team. That 2005 team was great.
Was that the one where they lost the playoff game? I mean, that was a playoff year, right?
They lost the wild card.
Okay, so like Tampa, maybe.
Sorry, no, they lost division, is what it was. Sorry.
Okay, it's usually either Tampa or Seattle when you look at
Seattle. Yeah, Seattle's who they lost to.
Seattle.
And Seattle was who we lost to in 2012 too, as well, right?
2012, yeah.
They
2012.
Technically finished 11-6 that year because they won their game against Tampa and then they lost against Seattle. So technically, but I mean, in season, it's been a while.
That's right. We should call them out on that, and we should call them out. They didn't say 11+ win regular season, so Washington did have 11 wins that year for sure.
I have to say that unfortunately, I do agree with Stoner here. I just don't think that. When I talk about the likelihood of it happening, it's just everything points to this being a season that's going to fall short of 11. Now, maybe it's an exciting 10-win season.
It's an 11-win season. We're going to be 12-5, dog.
There is that extra game.
5.
There is that extra game. Maybe they're 10-6 and then they beat the Cowboys to get to 11 there in the final season. How would that be? Breaking this 11-win curse by beating the Cowboys, that'd be something at home.
Sam Howell,
the new cowboy killer.
Yeah.
I just think that this is you got a new offense, you've got a new QB1, young QB1 who's still trying to learn the game. I think that the defense should be able to get you 6 wins.
Wow.
Are there 5 wins?
Here we go.
Are there 5 wins out there the offense is going to win the game?
Hang on a second.
Yes, there are.
Did you just say the defense is going to win this team 6 games?
Yes.
By holding opponents to like under 20 points or like 20, how about 23 and under?
Yep. Our defense will stop the Dolphins. Our defense will stop the Giants at least once. Same with the Eagles, same with the Cowboys. There's 3 right there. We'll stop the Bears. That's 4. We can stop the Cardinals. That's 5. And
that's about it.
No, hold on. We can stop the Patriots. Come on,
okay.
We can.
All right.
6 right there.
Being completely optimistic.
That's 6 right there. Now,
I don't like the thing where you said they can stop the Cowboys and Eagles. I'm not saying you can't beat them.
We did it last year.
I'm not saying you can't beat them. I am saying I wouldn't count on the defense to do that.
Did the defense beat the Eagles last year to give them that 1 loss? Yes, we did.
What was the score? Remind me.
It's like double digits, but we stopped the run game.
Yeah.
Defense.
Okay. All right. I mean, okay.
Jay pointing out that 2022 was really the year to get to 11.
Yeah.
I mean, you had winnable games against the Giants, the Titans, the Vikings. Like it was right there for the taking. It was right there.
100% agreed. There were some
the goal line mistake against the Titans, the Vikings in a
starter,
one-score game, both Giants games.
should have won both of those. Yeah.
You're right, Jay. 2022 was probably the year that we really should. This year, I'm not saying we can't. I'm saying the likelihood, Trev,
is high.
If this isn't a coin flip at this time, this is probably, I'd put like a 15% chance. If you're like, what is that ESPN win probability thing?
Yeah,
15% to get to the 11 plus wins.
I'm going 75.
Wow. I'm going for real. I'm not doing a bit to get to 11 wins this year. Less than 1%.
Oh my!
I'm trying not to be a hater. I'm trying to be a realist.
I mean, Nathan gave 15%. You said less than 1%.
I mean, there's not even a game that's been played yet. Like, I mean, come on.
I know.
We haven't seen enough of what's going on to know whether or not that's going to be the case. Let's transition a little bit from the 11 plus wins talk to the new ownership. Is one of those things we were talking about, how Dan Snyder's really run this team into the ground. Well, Josh Harris is primed to be the owner at the start of the season. There's been 2 days that the owners have been given to be like, hey, mark this on your calendar because we're probably going to have a vote. Okay. Both of those before the season.
Mm-hmm.
So Josh Harris is going to be a owner of the Washington Commanders. Yep. He's going to be an owner of the 76ers in the NBA, and he owns the New Jersey Devils out there in the NHL. So there's another owner who owns 4 pro sports teams, and they all have had championships within the last 2 years, is what I believe it was. So can Josh Harris replicate what Kronke did over and I'm going to call him Kronke. Over with the Rams, with the Las Vegas Knights, or no,
Colorado Avalanche.
It was the Avalanche. He's with the Nuggets just recently, and a lacrosse team.
Yep.
And he owns Arsenal in the EPL, which they were in first place the entire year until like the last 3 matches.
Arsenal, but that's an EPL thing.
Yeah, right. So I think it lays some foundation or a path that fans, because you have no idea, you can't really compare what they do as owners, but as fans, we can look at it and say, okay, he can own multiple franchises in multiple leagues in multiple cities and still be able to put the right people in place in order to have a successful franchise, because Stan Kronke has proved it. So that just gives you hope, I think, as a fan, because there's a lot of people who were worried about that. Well, if he's going to buy the Commanders, the Devils, Commanders, and Sixers are all playing at the same time in October and November and December and January. They're all playing in season. Are you going to be able to manage that as an owner? Put the right people in place. Stan Kronke has shown that you can do it.
Yep. Sit back, pay the bills, make it happen. Gus Bus, by the way, saying that he'd rather have 10 wins and Howell progress. That'd be pretty good. Hawk
that's a good.
TV stands with Stoner as far as the percentage there. Allison saying 5% to get to there. That's fair. 5% is where we're at. Trout's been saying everything would have to work out not short of great for us to reach 11 to 13 wins. I mean, if we're at 11 to 13 wins, this would not be what I would consider a paper tiger team, right? Like I was going to call them. I thought they were going to be the paper tiger team last year. They were going to beat the bad teams, lose to the good teams, but they were still going to make the playoffs, was my guess.
Yeah.
If they're winning 11 to 13 games this year, they're not a paper tiger. They've beat good teams to get there. And it would be nice to see that, because maybe they would turn the corner and we'd have some excitement here in Washington for a change. And I think the new ownership angle to it is going to be exciting for fans, because I think a lot of people have been waiting for Dan Snyder to leave. They've been boycotting the team to because of Dan Snyder. So he's out the door. You're going to see more people in there. If Hal, let's see if this is the right button. Nope. I won't be able to get there. Hold on. Let's see if I can.
I don't have that one. Can you reach it? He's trying to reach the howl. But there you go. That was it.
My whole setup for the record is very, very different today. So there's going to be some changes. Stoner is in charge of all the button smashing today. So
why not Washington?
Why not Washington? That's perfect for this. Why not Washington? Why can't they get to 11 plus wins? Well, tell you what, there are two people who are going to be very important to get to 11 plus wins, and that's Chase Young and Montez Sweat. And we're going to talk about them coming up here in the game. Who are you going to pay, and how are their seasons going to play out? Stick with us.
Say goodbye to the generic face wash on your counter, because Caldera Lab is here to save the day when it comes to your skin. Backed by a leading clinical trial where 9 out of 10 men experienced healthier and visibly improved skin, Caldera Lab has the tools to unlock your best first impression and confidence. See for yourself why so many men trust Caldera Lab for their skincare needs.
I'll tell you what, Caldera Lab, it's interesting. I haven't taken this good of care of my skin since I was probably in my teenage years, and I had like all these different things to be like, please don't have acne, right? But it makes sense, especially here for us that we're always on camera, to have good, clean skin, but it makes good sense for you to have good, clean skin as well. And so head out to Caldera Lab and get yourself some good skincare. This is for men. You can absolutely do this for yourself and have nice, fresher looking skin at Caldera Lab. We need to replace your voiceover. We are kind of in disarray here in the Perry household. I'm in my third location in pretty much as many weeks. So, but we'll make it work. We'll see if we can't get her to do a nice sultry take on that particular one here. But let's get to
this. This is the moneymaker. This needs to be well cared for, and Caldera Lab is the place. The things I use on the moneymaker to get it looking this good for you all.
Uh-huh.
I just thought I would throw that little added value in there for you.
Okay.
All right, let's get to this. Jared has 3 things for us as far as what's going to happen to the Commanders this year. I'm interested, Jared, for what you have there. Maybe Chase or Montez are in there. First off, gentlemen, I'm going to ask you this question.
All right.
Travis, we're going to start with you. Who is going to have the better year, Chase or Montez?
Chase Young. And here's why. Montez Sweat is going to miss some time.
Ooh.
Oh, I remember distinctly that you guys were killing me.
Oh, yeah,
or
absolutely.
doing the injury bug,
injury
jinx.
I'm not saying injury. I'm just saying it's just the way this team is, the way our luck rolls, the way our dice rolls when we roll it.
Yeah.
We're going great, and then something, boom, happens. So, of course, last year we're doing okay, and Chase gets hurt. So Montez has to kind of take the load. Well, now that Chase Young's healthy and back, and Montez has been pretty much healthy for most part of the year, except for the beginning when he had that heart problem or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
This might be the time where they just switch positions, and now Chase is the healthy one, and Montez is the least productive. But realistically, still Chase Young, I believe. I think Montez Sweat's going to be too focused on trying to get the bag like Deron Payne did, rather than just go out there and playing. So I think he might overcompensate for himself a little bit, trying to do too much, as people like to say. I think.
You mean? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just going to say, you mean like he always has?
Yeah. Yeah. Now, since he's been asked about, since Deron Payne got the bag, what's your blueprint of doing it? And he said, whatever. Chase, I think, has something more to prove than Montez. They didn't pick up his 5th-year option. That's one motivation factor right there. He blew out his knee after being considered a generational, athlete, predator, number 2 overall. That's motivation right there. And then the third, whether he's going to get himself a contract, not just an extension, but like whether it's with this team or a brand new team. So I think Chase Young will be the more productive just because of those factors.
I think all that's fair to say, Trev. I do have sources that have said from the Chase Young camp. Now, my sources are not in the Chase Young camp. I'm just saying that they have heard from the Chase Young, second, third party sort of, the telephone game.
Your
Believe what you want.
Grocery baggers, friends, mothers,
Right.
kid said.
Yeah. So say what you want, but he does not have the desire to be great. He doesn't have the desire to be a great football player.
That's coming from his camp? That's not that hard to believe. It's coming from his own camp that he doesn't have desire to be.
No. Let me rephrase.
Back it up here.
Yeah,
your grocery baggers, mom's, son's kid thing or other. Yeah.
Knows somebody within the camp, Chase's camp, and gets that message from them. That's still somebody from Chase's camp that says he doesn't believe he can be great. He doesn't believe
doesn't have the
wants
desire to be great.
Right. Doesn't have the desire. He has the desire to be a to be everywhere and be about that life of fame and all that. He doesn't have the desire to do
burgundy and gold in him, aren't you, Trev?
Yeah, I'm about to burgundy and gold your butt, dog.
Me?
Yes, you.
I wonder why I'm having
while he fixes his microphone issues there. The thing that's interesting is both these gentlemen are going into a contract year, right? And if you're looking at it from face value, Montez Sweat, while Allison says that he's been borderline elite, I'm not going to go that far, but he has been more consistent. He's probably one of the more underrated players Washington has. And in some regards, Chase Young might be one of the most overrated. I don't quite believe that because fans, I think, are very, very hard on him. But, I mean, if you're looking historically what they're capable of, I think the person who's closer to a 10-sack season is going to be Montez Sweat.
Correct.
When you're looking at the talent, though, like the pure just game-breaking talent, Chase Young, if healthy, has more talent.
Correct.
But historically, we have 2 injured seasons and a 7.5 sack season from his rookie year that don't necessarily spell like he's going to get double-digit sacks.
I understand when people say that he has that second overall pick ability. I get all of that and what he should be. He's never done anything in the NFL to prove that he is a franchise type player.
Well, clearly, because he's been injured.
Stop with the injured stuff, Trev.
Well, I can't help it.
But he had 7.5 sacks. He had
7.5
7.5 sacks his first season,
which was
his
actually
second season.
I think still top 15 in the league. Like it was not a
second season. He had 1.5, and he was playing in his 10th game. So why do you excuse the 10 games of that 1 year? Why do you excuse that? He was bad that year. And you heard the coaches hinting at it when they talked about guys not doing what they were supposed to do on the defensive line. You heard them talking about that.
I did.
He was freelancing. He was doing what he wanted to do because he's Chase Young. So he hasn't ever done anything to prove otherwise. 7.5 sacks ain't going to do it. If he gets 7.5 sacks this year, he gone. And nobody's going to care.
Really?
Really.
Coming off with that knee injury to get 7.5 sacks.
Stop with the knee injury too, Trev.
It's been part of the game, though. It's literally part of his career. Like, it's literally part of it.
You have to stop blaming an injury that happened 2 years ago. I get that he had an injury. Thousands of guys have had those injuries and have come back better. And he hasn't yet. I'm saying he could. I'm not saying he can't do it and that he's a total bust. He can do it. But stop giving him excuses. Stop with he's been injured. What about the 10 games of the 2021 season that he played when he had 1.5 sacks? What about that? That's the last time you saw him fully healthy without.
He was clearly not fully healthy.
Yes, he was. Trey.
His beginning of the season, he was healthy.
Yeah, beginning.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's what he's saying. Those 10 games, he was 9 games actually.
Okay, so
he didn't look
year.
It was in his 10th game, right? That he
he got injured in his 10th game.
Yeah.
Right. So it was into 10 games.
Actually, yeah.
Okay.
It says 9 here.
How
on
many
this
sacks
one.
did Montez have that year?
In 2021, Montez was also injured, remember. He had 5 sacks.
Yeah.
He played.
How many did he
games.
have in 2020?
How many games?
In 2020, he had 9. His rookie year, he had 7.
How many
8
did
last
8
year.
games? 8 games.
He played every game, the rookie year, every game his sophomore year, every game last year. It was just 2021. He missed the time. He had only played 10 games that year.
Oh, okay. 10 games.
So, and if he played the additional 6 or 7 games in 2021, he had 5 sacks already. You got to think that he at least gets to his average here, which is 7. He gets 2 more sacks and
either
5
way,
5, 6
both
games.
are poopy defensive ends, is what we're saying.
They haven't been great.
Montez Sweat is actually, so if we're looking at kind of for other players to comp them to,
okay,
I've always said Chase Young is clowning, right? Like I've said that for years now, that he's number 2 overall pick. He's got a lot of buzz around him, but there's just something that's just not going to click. I think it's also going to be like clowning in the fact that he's not going to stay with the team that drafted him. Montez Sweat reminds me a lot of like Preston Smith, the guy who's like almost there. Because Preston Smith is not a bad edge rusher. He's not an elite edge rusher.
That's right.
And Montez Sweat is right there. And then you're going to see a lot of QB pressures, which are valuable, but he's not getting after the quarterback at an elite level.
Right.
He's so close. If he can just close the gap, if he can turn the corner this year, I can see him having kind of a Deron Payne, let me go get paid kind of year where he does get 13 plus sacks.
Booyah. Would love that. Would love to see that. I mean, Trev, Deron Payne, how many sacks did Deron Payne have last year?
11.5.
From a defensive tackle position.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
and Chase had 1.5 in 10 games.
That doesn't mean
90 plus games.
Aaron Donald's the same position, so that's not rare for a defensive tackle to have that many sacks.
It is rare.
It is
super duper rare.
What Deron Payne did was
Aaron Donald,
rare.
Deron Payne, John Allen, it happens.
Yeah. Even Jonathan Allen hasn't hit the double-digit sack.
Yeah, it's very rare for a defensive tackle to get double-digit sacks. Only the greats do it. Aaron Donald's going to go down as maybe the greatest defensive tackle in history. So it's understandable that he gets double-digit sacks.
Yeah. Aaron Donald's going to not just go down as one of the best defensive tackles of all time. He might go down as one of like the top 3 or 5 defensive players of all time.
Yeah. So I keep going back to that, and I keep going back to his second year, his sophomore year, when his rookie year was okay. And Nathan, I think you said his 7.5 was top 15. I'm not sure if that's
I looked it up.
Rookie of the year.
I looked it up. There are technically that bucket is the 13th highest sack total. And I say bucket because there's like several guys at like 9 sacks, several guys at like, so like if you're the total itself is the 13th highest. I also don't know how they determine who at 7.5 sacks is where they are. So he fell on the particular list at 28. But when you actually look at it, there was only like sack totals, 12 sack totals higher than what he got.
Okay, but there were but there were multiple guys at those higher.
Sure.
totals.
Yeah. No, I mean, there was possibly 27. I'd have to bring it back up again to see
That
where he fell within the 7.5 sack bucket. But yes,
That is the epitome of skewing the stats because he was
Who,
not
me?
12.
I would never do
He
something
was-
like that.
He was
Never.
not 12. He was in the 20s, in the mid 20s, which is what he was the best on his team,
Sure.
but it was not anywhere near the best in the league.
Which
He
actually
had a good rookie year.
which,
Okay,
which
had a
he
really
wasn't, by the way, right?
good- wasn't even the best
2020.
on the team.
Yeah. Sorry, Montez Sweat had 9 sacks that year.
Yeah. Montez Sweat did.
Yeah.
Look, if Montez Sweat busts out, great, let's pay him. Same
Really?
with Chase. If he busts out, great, let's pay him. Same thing we did with Deron Payne. If you bust out, we'll pay you. But if you're going to just come back with a typical year of 7, 8, 9 sacks, there's no place for you here. That's a dime a dozen. We ran Preston Smith out of town.
Bro,
ran-
hold on.
I don't know about dime a
Hold
dozen.
on,
I mean,
hold on,
this is
hold on.
still
That's
edge
still enough
rusher
to
one.
stay on the
Yeah.
team, but it's not going to be enough to get the bag he wants. You can't just throw him out if he has 8 sacks this year, coming off of a knee injury like that. You can't just throw him away. Who you going to replace him with? KJ Henry and get 4 sacks in his spot?
Okay, money is an issue. You're not going to give him the bag,
No.
so you're going to throw him out. That's what I'm saying. You're not going to give him the money that he's going to get somewhere else.
What if you franchise him?
That's another
a lot
story.
of money.
But you're going to give
That's a
him
lot of money.
$25 million for that. That's a heck of a lot of money too. So one of those is going to have to ball out,
I'd pay neither.
and you might end up paying neither. You might end up paying both.
That's a horrible position to be in, by the way.
But they're dime
It
a
is.
dozen,
It's
like
terrible.
Stoner says. That we
They're
just go get
not.
them. Exactly.
They're not.
What do you mean they're not?
They're not Montez Sweats aren't a dime a dozen. I'm not saying that he's elite. I'm not, but he's not a Jag, Stoner. You're acting like he's a Casey Two-Hill. You're acting like those are Jags.
No, those are Jags.
Bradley Smith, those are Jags. He is an upper level defensive end. Montez Sweat is. Chase Young, we're gonna have to wait and see.
Upper level defensive end.
Montez Sweat is criminally underrated by this fan base. Criminally.
Well,
Not
it is
the fan base. The
insane.
NFL is what we
the
should.
NFL, if you look, there are people who rate him way higher than what we do.
Mhm.
Because again, if you take into account, if you're looking at just sack numbers, I can see why you're down on him. He's almost always there, right? It's just like, oh, he just missed one. And it's frustrating as a fan. But then when you look at the QB pressures, when you look at what he does in the run game, because I know a lot of people like to, and Allison's pointed out a couple times here in the chat, Chase Young is great against the run. He does a great job against the run. He does a great job against screens. Great. I need an edge rusher who's getting after the QB though.
Mhm.
And Montez Sweat is good against the run, not maybe as good as Chase, but he's good against the run, and he does well enough against the screen game, but he does a better job of getting after the QB.
If Montez Sweat has a Montez Sweat like year,
which is what a lot of quarterback pressures and barely any sacks.
right? Maybe 8,
Probably just under
8 to
10.
9
Yeah, it'll be
sacks.
8-9 sacks.
Yeah.
and get some nice PFF numbers, and has you in the negotiating room to skew the stats for him to the front office. He's going to get paid, but not by Washington. Washington has had him for 5 years, and they're going to say the money that you're going to be able to get on the open market is not worth the 5 years of play that we just got from you. So we're going to let you go out in the same what they did with Preston, the same that they did with Arakpo.
I mean,
Those were fine.
Sweat is in the same position that Deron Payne was, and then Gus Bus threw out the numbers there with the $22 million a year, right? He's going to want that at least. He's going to want to essentially reset the defensive end market, for the mid to upper tier defensive ends, not elite tier, but like he's going to want to kind of set that, and he's going to need, and to answer Gus Bus's question there, he's going to need more than an 8 sack season.
Yeah, 8 sacks ain't gonna get you $22 million, dog.
Now, here's my question for you. He gets 13 and a half. Are you paying him $22 million a year?
13 and a half?
13 and a half sacks. Are you going to pay him $22 million a year?
I am, absolutely.
How many years, Stoner?
I would give him, whatever.
It's probably going to be a 4-year deal, probably.
Yeah, a 4-year, $70-something million or something like that. He's going to get.
That's now, by the way, what? How much money put into your defensive line?
Oh, I know,
60 million plus
for 1 year.
Not
for three players.
No.
Yeah.
This is what you need. This is honestly, I would pay Sweat. Absolutely. If he gets 13 and a half sacks, I would definitely pay for him.
And the same with Chase. If Chase comes out there and he gets 13 and a half sacks, which is double anything he's ever done, then you're going to say, okay, he's recovered. He's now that dominant defensive end. You might have to franchise him or whatever. But yes, then you would do the same for Chase. Now, if let's say they both get 13 and a half sacks, then the question is Chase or Montez.
Chase.
Which one are you paying?
I'm paying Chase.
That's a tough one.
I'm paying Chase, dog. If he is drafted number 2 overall, defensive rookie of the year, has a crappy sophomore season due to lack of production and injury because it is part of the game, and he misses the entire next year with the same injury because it got worse, comes back in 13 and a half sacks off of that injury and off of that 2 years, yes. Montez, you've had every opportunity to do this and you haven't done it. All of a sudden you do it now. Who says you're going to do it again next year?
Well, I mean, you're saying you're making the exact same argument that you could make for Chase.
Chase kind of deserves it. Number 2 overall.
He deserves it.
If they end the season with the same stats, and we have to go to Stoner's eyeball test.
Yeah, I'm taking Chase.
His little sniff test. Give me a little sniff test there, Stoner.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel for this team, like if they both finish, we'll say 13 and a half sacks. Okay.
I'm keeping Chase.
And that to me, that seems like the team's going to be doing pretty well then.
Yeah.
So we're probably going to be, if that's the case, I think the staff likes Montez Sweat more than they like Chase Young.
Oh, but guess what? It's new ownership. So
okay.
what does that? So you can't put that on this year's staff because they're going to be gone.
Right. Most likely.
They're going to be gone.
The ownership situation plays into it.
Yeah, but not the coaching staff, but the ownership does because coaching staff would be gone. So it's whether or not if Josh Harris in the group likes Chase or Montez, that's what it's going to come down to.
All right.
I think for Chase to get paid,
I'm going Chase Young.
Yeah, he wants to pay Chase Young. I think for Chase Young to get paid, he needs to have a wow season. He needs to remind people by Washington. He's going to get paid somewhere. But by Washington, he's going to need to remind this staff why he was selected number 2 overall. It's not just about the 13 and a half sacks. He's going to have those forced fumbles. He's going to have those fumble recoveries. He's going to have disruptive plays. Think back to his rookie season where that San Francisco game where he just kind of took over the game. He's going to have those kind of games, which is why he was picked number 2 overall. I think that he still has that in him. Whether or not he's a dork or a dog, as Allison had put earlier, but it is up for debate. We'll see. But that's the kind of season that he's going to have to be to get paid by this team.
Both players, I think, are going to have that.
Montez Sweat, I think, can get paid by this team if he breaks double digits. If Montez Sweat breaks double digits and Chase Young is just right there about where he's at, Montez Sweat gets paid and Chase Young gets shipped. Now, maybe they do something of, a sign and trade type deal. But like Caleb says here, even if Chase gets the same amount of sacks, Montez has been more consistent. I mean, he's just shown you in and out, and this is a natural jump for him to answer what you're talking about earlier, Trev. Maybe he hasn't shown us that he can get 17 sacks in a season, but if he gets 13 to 15, that's a natural progression from what you've seen. He's also someone who seems like he's buying into it. Right? Chase Young has been the guy who has been kind of off-putting. You hear the buzz about maybe there's something between him and Ron. I like Chase as a player. I like him as a young man. I think that he's great for this football franchise with the energy that he brings.
Mhm.
All right.
And I want to see him have one of these breakout years that shows us why he was a fan favorite. And
all that goes into
and
it.
if EP's turned on him, which she has, that's saying something. She loved herself some Chase early on. And now she's just like, nah, I'm done with them.
She's also turned on Logan Thomas, who's having a really good camp, and she's also.
I don't think she ever.
She never liked Logan. Thomas.
Yeah, and then she's also a JFP fan, so I don't pay attention to EP when it comes to Chase Young.
You gotta love some Jared Patterson, man.
So here's a question for you. Or I guess it's not a question, but if they do, let's just say they have basically the exact same stats at the end of the year, and it's about 13.5. Let's even push it up to 15. They both get 15 sacks, and they're both excellent.
What was the season record? Isn't it like 31 combined?
No, it's way higher than that.
No, hold on.
It's 40.
Is it?
I think it's right at 40.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that's what it is. 39, 40. But anyway, if they both get that, I am paying Chase Young. Because Chase Young has the it factor that does more than just help you on the field.
Yep.
He's local.
Yep.
He's the number 2 pick. That does play a role, believe it or not, being the number 2 pick. That plays a role in it.
Yep.
He's a fan favorite.
Yep.
And his profile is a lot higher than Montez. And so I think that will earn him the money before Montez would earn the money. There's kind of like politics to it a little bit, behind the scenes stuff that he's going to get paid if they have very similar seasons and they're both really good seasons. I'd pay him.
They're gonna have great seasons this year. I just got a feeling it's gonna be
39, by the way.
Oh,
yeah, close. 39.
The current combined sack record is 39. Vikings, Chris Dolman, and Keith Millard in 1989. Remember, that was just a couple years ago that they were talking about breaking that together.
Yeah, that was when we were at camp.
Mm-hmm.
And they were out there. This was after the COVID year, so they had to have that distance. They couldn't even come up and sign autographs and everything. And they were over there. The two of them were just holding court, and they were like, we're going to break the sack record between the teammates, the two of us. Yeah. So I don't know, man. I would pay Chase. I would give him all the money if it came down to the two of them. I don't expect it. I don't expect him to have that big of the year, but I certainly hope he does.
Yeah. By the way, Trev, if you're wondering, I had to mute you for some burgundy and gold there. He knows what to do.
Oh, yeah.
The TJ picking on EP there a little bit, or picking on what she loves. TJ is right. Chase Young was a Heineke pusher, loved himself some Heineke.
Oh yeah, that was my other question.
So, but to me, maybe it's because I value Montez Sweat more. I just feel like that's the route to go. But I do think that Chase Young can be a special player.
Oh yeah,
if he is a special player this year, you'd be stupid not to pay him.
I believe all of that. Absolutely, I 100% agree with that. But here's a question for you. So Chase's rookie year, he won Defensive Rookie of the Year, right? The next year, the 2021, he was a captain, right? He wasn't a captain his rookie year, right? No, because that would be crazy. He was a captain.
It's not all that crazy.
He was a captain in 2021, the year he eventually got hurt. Last year, he was not a captain, obviously, because he was on IR for most of the year, right? Will Chase Young be a captain this year?
No.
And why not? If
Jonathan Allen is the captain of that defensive.
Jonathan Allen was at the same time. It's not.
I know you don't necessarily have one offense, one defense, one
right.
Special teams. I don't think Chase Young is going to be a captain. I think that their captains, they're going to have Reeves run it back. You probably have Tressway. So you have 2 special teamers on there as captains. You have Terry McLaurin, Jonathan Allen, and who else would you want as
Sam
a
Howell
captain?
will be quarterback as always. He will be a captain
If he performs, I
if
can
he's
see
the
them.
starter. Yeah.
Chase
If
Young
he
was
performs.
named captain in 2020 at the same
In
time.
2020.
Yeah, they named him and Alex Smith because it came after, rest his soul, Dwayne Haskins was stripped of his captaincy after violating COVID protocols by partying. Remember that?
Yep, I do remember that, right? Because Dwayne Haskins started the year as a captain.
Yeah. And they named Alex Smith and Chase.
Okay, now go back and check. Was he captain in 2021 before he got hurt? That's what I'm trying to remember.
I believe he started the year as a captain.
I think he was as well. But you're right.
He was only
Sam,
stripped.
Ryan Fitzpatrick and Terry McLaurin.
There were your 3 main guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Captains show up to voluntary OTAs. I'm just saying. I'm not trying to rehash that argument. I'm just saying captains show up to that.
I have to agree with them, Trev. I don't agree with his stance on Chase being a horrible football player because he didn't show up to voluntary camp.
No, I never said it. You twisted my words. But
He said it. He said it. But I have to agree. A captain is going to show up to the
question.
The captain's going to show up.
Was Charles Leno Jr. captain?
Good question.
I don't think so.
I don't think he was. Yeah.
Let's find out.
I don't believe he was. You know who I
Puck
predict?
TV is asking for Miracle Whip to be a captain. Yeah,
you know who I think is going to be a captain?
Who?
On defense. Come on, take a guess. Who do you think? You know John
Cam
Allen's
Curl?
going to be. Cam Curl's going to be yours. When he gets paid.
Yeah.
After the sale. It's going to be the sale. They're going to pay Cam Curl. He's going to be the captain. And he's going to the Pro Bowl. Yeah. Yeah, I said it. That's right. Cam Curl is going to the Pro Bowl this year.
What?
Yep.
That'd be something.
And he's going to be a captain, Trev.
He's not going to the Pro Bowl.
And he's getting
but
paid.
I appreciate that.
And he's getting paid.
All right.
He's not going to the Pro Bowl, but it's okay.
We'll see if he's going to Pro Bowl as the season progresses. I tell you one guy who might be at the Pro Bowl, and that's Jahan Dotson. And if he makes it there, Sam Howell has probably had a good season. But if you ask Jahan Dotson, the guy's legit. Sam Howell's legit. We're going to be talking about that here in the cool down. Stay with us.
The Cool Down is brought to you by Manscaped. Ever since my Nathan started using their products, I can't cool down. Fellas, trust me. Go to Manscaped right now and get 20% off and free shipping by using the code REF. Your ladies will appreciate you. Now back to Trev, Stoner, and my Manscaped man, Nathan.
Father's Day is this Sunday.
Oh, yeah.
Make sure you give them the code REF, manscaped.com. Get them 20% off, free shipping. I've seen Manscaped materials or items available in some big box stores. Yeah, maybe you can do that and pick it up, but why not save yourself 20% off? Use the code REF. That's R as in ref, E as in F, and F as in F. 20% off, free shipping right there, manscaped.com. Use it for your Father's Day or push it to your significant other to get them to use it so you can stay nice and fresh. Now, my beard is pretty scraggly. I forgot to clean it up today, but maybe I would have been able to clean it up if I had that new beard trimmer that's available on manscaped.com. Just a hint there for things to come here in the Perry household.
Nice.
But let's get to this comment that Jahan Dotson made on the Jim Rome show, which was that Sam Howell is legit, that he just makes those passes and all that jazz. I don't know if we have the clip available to play.
I have it that I can read it.
Yeah, go ahead and read it up.
Okay. Jahan Dotson talking about Sam Howell, of course. We've got our QB situation settled. I think Sam Howell is going to be our guy. I have complete faith in him. He makes throws look super effortless on the field. He's been a great leader. he's using words like great and what are the complete faith. Our QB situation is settled, which that's what we all want to hear.
There's been a contingent of people that have said, well, what else is he going to say?
Mm-hmm.
Right. And it's true, right? That's fair. Like, you're not going to hear Terry McLaurin had some good things to say about him during OTAs and generally Logan Thomas, and generally you're hearing some good things. And of course they're supposed to say this. This is their teammate. They were probably saying the same thing about Dwayne Haskins and Taylor Heineke and all this.
Heineke had the same praise.
So
You're right.
so I get it. I get that sentiment. But isn't it a good thing that they're saying this? Like, they're not this one, I will say this, felt the most genuine. Like, even listening to it sounded the most genuine.
It came out that he's Sam Howell's favorite target in practice. Of course he's going to say that.
Pete Haley did say that with us last Friday, was the Jahan Dotson.
I mean,
Sam
if I'm getting a lot of love, I'm going to say it too.
Yeah. And it could be that. The thing is you want to hear this. Like, this is the thing that I said last week, gentlemen, right? Like, it's one thing to kind of like see the work and kind of go through the motion, and everybody's kind of do this. I want to see more of his teammates tell us that this is the guy.
Mm-hmm.
This right here, he's something special. I want to hear it from his teammates. The more teammates that come out and say stuff like that, the better I feel about Sam Howell as QB1.
I would rather hear defenders say that rather than the offensive players. That's a no-brainer coming from receivers. You're catching the ball from all day, every day. But if he's getting it past Kendall Fuller, if he's making throws past Emmanuel Forbes, if he's dropping them over the head of Defoe and Cam Curl, I want to hear that from the defender side of the ball.
For sure.
Not the offense side of the ball, because that's just obvious. They're going to praise them because they're on offense with them.
I agree that this is just a lot of talk. Obviously, they're just out there in shorts and no pads and throwing things around, but they're running their offense and everything, so that plays into it. But I think I'm good at reading between the lines. I'm able to kind of break down what somebody is saying when they're just trying to praise somebody just to praise them. And there's a difference when they're praising them because they believe it. And I do hear a difference in tone. I heard what people were saying last year about Carson Wentz in camp. And I was reading between those lines. I told you guys all the time that during camp, you heard nothing but good things, but you can hear those little things in there that people were not convinced that Carson Wentz was properly leading the offense. And it turned out that way. You can hear it. And I haven't heard that yet. Now, we're not into training camp where they got pads and guys are flying around and all that. So that's a little bit different story. But what I'm hearing is I hear guys who truly believe that Sam Howell can be the guy. It's a totally different ball game when they get out there with pads. They start practicing against the Baltimore Ravens. And
that's the one I think that's going to be the most exciting to see, right? When he goes up against the Ravens, even though we know it's just going to be like preseason, it's going to be some vanilla stuff, but these are going to be against guys who don't see him every day. Mm-hmm. And if he starts doing well there, if you start seeing some of the even our team getting hyped and rallying around him the same way that they rallied around Heineke, then again, this is just building some of that excitement up that we want to see from this position. And God forbid, gentlemen, we get a Hard Knocks and we get to see Dotson and Howell up close and on HBO. I mean, how exciting would that be?
By the way, breaking news. Okay, breaking news from me, not real breaking news. I do
I was about to say, are we on Hard Knocks? Comment section would be going wild right now if they announced that we were Hard Knocks live on air.
There are 4 teams that can be compelled to be on Hard Knocks, right? Yeah. We've all heard the millions of things, and it's the Jets. Remind me.
Bears.
Jets, Bears. Who's the third?
Dolphins, right?
I don't remember. Whatever it is. Let's just say Jets, Bears, Dolphins, Commanders. Let's just say that. Okay. The other three teams have come out and said
Jets, Bears, Saints, Commanders.
Saints.
That's who it was. Yeah.
All right. The other three teams have already come out and said, we don't want it.
Yeah.
If any team wants it, then that's probably who they're going to take.
Yeah, that's who they go with. It's a voluntary basis.
Yeah, you can do it. Let's just say the Packers. The Packers could do it if they wanted to. But there are 4 teams that can be forced to do it.
Yeah.
And those other 3 teams have said, we don't want to do it. The Commanders have not said that they don't want to do it. Yeah. And I have a source, and this is a real source. This is not one of those crazy source. I have a real source that said the Commanders are very interested in being on Hard Knocks.
I mean,
yeah,
might as well.
They want to be on Hard Knocks.
That's pretty spicy. I mean, if you look back at our Jason Wright interview, where I kind of snuck it in there.
Yeah.
Jason tried his best to stay. My hair is crazy here. Try to stay. Sorry for audio listeners on that
squirrel,
but he tried so hard to stay like straight faced during it.
Yeah.
But he looked like the cat who ate the bird.
Yeah.
He didn't want to say anything, and I don't think they're volunteering. I don't think any team really wants Hard Knocks because it is like it's a lot of extra work, and it is, and the coaches and it just takes away. Yeah. So, but in the franchise perspective, this would be a gold mine. Look how many people were cheering for the Detroit Lions last year because they're on the Hard Knocks. You got lovable characters. You got to see, this team in a way that you never did. And now people were starting, and then they had a reasonable season, not a great season, but Washington needs that kind of boost. And they're going to get part of that boost with the Josh Harris sale.
And the stadium thing and the
and so Hard Knocks would be like would be such an adrenaline boost to restoring this franchise's fan base.
That would be.
We have so many lovable characters here.
Yeah,
again, a young QB and Sam Howell, if he starts showing out, like immediately becomes one of even if he's only a top 15 quarterback when all is said and done, could be potentially outside the chicken nugget thing, which everyone now will know that he doesn't. He's a nuggy guy, but I think you can have guys like Tressway, one of our Sooners here, he would be
a star.
Oh,
Tressway, Jeremy Reeves, just because of his Pro Bowl nod last year, put that in there, and how he's been cut and signed. Sam Howell, Terry McLaurin, Brian B. Rob, shot in the leg. Chase Young, obviously.
Chase Young might actually show out really for some Hard Knocks. That's his MO, right? Like he is, and there's nothing wrong with this to be brand focused or anything like that. I want to make sure I put that out there. It is very much it's a smart business practice in a sense. The Chase Young on Hard Knocks, like he'll be eating that scenery left and right, and then he'll want to back it up in season. You might see a whole nother Chase Young if they get Hard Knocks, which is outstanding.
Yep. Chase would be a star. Tressway would be a star. But
Curtis Samuel was one that I think Pete Haley mentioned.
Yeah.
I guess he's a funny guy, and he's just one of those. I think you need that. I honestly think Dotson and Terry McLaurin are still just too quiet. Like you're not really going to get a whole lot out of them. You're just going to get a lot of production out of them.
Nathan
but
Perry,
you have some.
Chris Stoner.
I tell you what.
RefTheDistrict.
If they're on Hard Knocks, that's a weekly show, right? We'll have a post Hard Knocks like talk
breakdown
episode. Absolutely.
Well, they're on Tuesday nights, so our Wednesday show would be perfect for having a
doing it in the cool down or something like that.
Day after Hard Knocks.
See, Terry McLaurin, he wouldn't become like a star like a Chase Young would be, but people would fall in love with him because they would see what he does and who he is as a person, and they would just absolutely fall in love with him. He wouldn't be like the star like Chase Young, is the camera's going to be drawn to him, and he just knows how to light up a camera. But he would become that guy that everybody outside of Washington who doesn't know about him really, they're going to say, oh my goodness, that is like the greatest dude who plays in the NFL. And finally everybody else will get to see it. But but Tressway and Chase would be like the funny stars.
Who would be the camp story of the one either trying to make it but doesn't, or
I got it.
He just makes it and goes back to practice squad all the time. Who?
Mr. SYG, Mr. Steal Your Girl.
Oh,
Dax Milne would be that guy who would be like right on the.
Really?
Right
but he
on
was on
that
the roster
customized.
last year.
Yeah.
Troy Apke
would be
would
a good
be
one.
Trapkey. If Cashmere was healthy, Cashmere Allen was healthy, that would be
What about
one to
It's
watch.
one of those hopefuls that you gravitate to.
What about that receiver who made some noise that we'd never heard of?
Sample?
Like McKinsey or McKinley or something like that. Maybe he was a Penn State guy or something.
Yeah.
Tinsley.
The undrafted free agent. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that one might be.
Guy like that, who's just fighting for a
David
last
Mayo.
spot. David
Excuse me,
Miracle
Whip.
Whip. Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, all those guys would be. I mean, JFP.
Oh,
He'd be a good
that
one,
would probably be the one, honestly,
right?
for real.
5'6" or whatever he is.
He's been with
Scored
the team
7
ever-
touchdowns in a game.
That would be
up and down practice squad.
that would be good. That means
That
he's
would be a
getting
good
cut,
one.
but that would be a good
Right.
one.
Don't all those guys pretty much get cut?
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
All the guys who are right on line.
Sorry, EP.
Right. Cheeseman. I guess Cheeseman's like a pretty
Getting
funny guy, right?
all the Ravens versus Commanders practice as well.
Yes. Oh, please.
Yeah, because you have the whole ordeal about Lamar Jackson signing and not signing. They can put that in there a little bit when we play them. Ooh.
Mhm.
Just as long as we don't have another D'Angelo Hall incident, then we're good to go.
Oh, yeah. What did he blow his Achilles?
He
Yeah,
blew his
dog.
Achilles.
Yeah.
Talking all that smack on Hopkins and
Now, we got Beckham. Oh, no, Beckham.
Oh,
on the
Beckham's
Ravens.
over there. Yeah. And we're
Against
going up
Emmanuel
there.
Forbes.
Right?
Ooh, E.
Ooh,
Forbes
yeah.
against Beckham.
Forbes
David
on
Mitchell,
hot dogs?
Tinsley, Wild Goose from Gus Bus, Cam
Wow,
Curl.
dude.
Cam
Curl.
Curl's kind of quiet.
He's
though.
another one of those quiet. We have a lot of
Yeah.
quiet guys,
Yeah.
and I'm okay with that. I do like. I think that's where, like, you need
Cuddy.
a guy like Chase to kind of be
Right.
and, like our wild guys, like we mentioned, our Tressway, our punter is our wild guy.
Our punter, yeah.
You-
I mean,
I love-
John Allen wouldn't. He's too quiet.
He's a quiet.
He's
Yeah.
serious.
Deron
He
Payne's
probably
even
doesn't
quieter.
know
If
what hard
Jonathan
knocks
Allen
is.
wasn't a captain, like Deron Payne, like could you just like both of those are quiet guys, but Jonathan Allen took the captain role and started talking and let Deron Payne just do his thing. But Deron
Yeah.
Payne's even more of an introvert than
Oh, let's
Jonathan
take it.
Allen.
Oh, let's take it. And of course, Eric Bieniemy, he got to be on there.
Oh, that's right, Trev. Eric Bieniemy will be a breakout
Yeah.
star.
Oh my
with
god,
him just ripping off F-bombs left
Yep.
and right and
coming over
ripping
from
into
Kansas
dudes.
City after winning the Super Bowl
Oh,
last
that-
year.
Ridgeway would be
star.
another one I think would be fun.
Oh, Ridgeway's
would be
probably
good.
it.
Yeah, I just feel like he's got to be a character, right? I mean, anyone who
Cameron
power
Davis?
bombs somebody during a game's got to be a character.
Pretty much everybody could be stars.
You got F.A. Obata, who's English,
Oh yeah, the
Right.
international program.
and David Bada, who's German.
Gates, new offensive lineman who's got a mullet and is a character. Like,
Yeah,
I mean,
I hope it's going to be good, and I hope training camp gets spicy because then Hard Knocks will be really good, not just the basic old.
Well, you know what? What about that?
Let's get it
The
spicy.
kid, who's that quarterback the undrafted quarterback that they signed from a really small school?
From
was it
Fordham?
Fordham, yeah.
Yeah. Like that guy, he might be that good story of can he even make the
Sure.
practice squad?
Yeah, if he beats out Jake Fromm.
Yeah, if he
Yeah.
beats out from Jake from State Farm.
Kobe Brissett. Oh,
I'm
I'm
telling
ready.
you, there's storylines everywhere.
Hey Max, because it's not HBO Max anymore; it's just Max.
Yeah, hey Max,
Bring Hard
Yeah,
Knocks
yeah.
to Ashburn,
I
baby.
I'd love
Yeah.
it.
I think there's a big call for it, and it would be interesting getting back to the Dotson Howell connection to see more from their perspective how they feel about him and how Sam Howell's progressing and see some of this because
wanna
you're
hear-
talking about reading between the lines, Stoner. And we've seen some of this. A lot of people were focusing on the negativity. Like if you're looking at the tweets, people are focusing on the tweets that said that he threw interceptions, and they're missing the tweets that say that he threw touchdown passes. But if you're watching the beat reporters, so like the content that they put out,
that's right.
They have high praise to say about Sam Howell. Now they're hedging their bets a little bit.
Sure.
They are absolutely, they mention how he's young, he's learning, and he still makes some of these mistakes that you would expect a young QB to make. But then he does a throw that you're just like, wow.
Oh, yeah.
It wipes out all those mistakes that he just made.
Yeah. And so and this is the time he's supposed to do all those mistakes. We say it time and year in and year out, right? This is where you want to see the mistakes. Sometimes they translate Carson Wentz to the regular season, and sometimes they get cleaned up. We'll have to hope and see whether or not they'll get cleaned up. Maybe we'll see it on Hard Knocks.
I would also like to hear more offensive linemen speak out about Sam Howell. Like, how's he handling protection? How's he handling the calls? How's he getting up to the huddle?
I just want to see our offensive linemen block defensive linemen. Can they just do that for me? Like, like that's really what I need to see.
It's always the receivers they ask. That's an obvious question because they're catching balls from them. But O-line and defenders, I want to hear.
Offensive line would be a good battle during Hard Knocks as well, though, right? I mean, you got probably 4 of the 5 positions fairly set,
right?
You got one position though that is going to be Sadiq Charles, who's more kind of an experienced veteran at this point, but it's never cracked the starting lineup consistently.
Right.
Sometimes because of injury. You've got Chris Paul, who is in his second year, who is very raw but very big, well loved. Is it going to be somebody else who comes through? What are the rookies? What are the rookies going to do for their little rookie stuff? Are we going to have Aiden Hutchinson moment where it's fun and lovable? So Jen King would be absolutely Jennifer King with what she does with the running backs. I would like to see that interaction with her and EB.
Yeah, dog. We need Hard Knocks like Christmas.
We have some very what's the right word? Just characters as coaches.
Yeah.
When you got guys like Randy Jordan, who is the running backs coach, Jen King's the assistant, I believe, right? I mean, he's a character.
Yeah.
What if you have Warren Sapp coming out and being out there for a couple of days?
I believe he would too. I do think if we get Hard Knocks, Sapp will call back and be like, "Hey, can I come back and just do another couple days?" People kind of transition a little bit with that. People want Warren Sapp as like a full-time coach here, which may or may not be a good thing. I don't think Warren Sapp wants to be a full-time coach. I think he's good with kind of coming back every now and then. The coach grind is real. Be
a consultant.
Yeah, being a consultant is great. You come back for a couple days, you get to wear your little bucket hat and go drink mojitos or whatever at nighttime. That's the life. And I think that's what Warren Sapp wants. Ryan Kerrigan seems to be the one who is going to want to be a coach sometime. So it'll be interesting to see what it has. Yeah, Joshua bringing up EB saying Sam Howell is calm when he's doing good, calm when he messes up. I would want to see that. I want to see all of that. And if they have it, we'll definitely be bringing it to you. We bring you daily content Monday through Friday at 7:30 live. Well, 7:30 live on Wednesdays, 7:30 Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday, the Daily Commanders Update. You can always catch us here on YouTube. We do stream live on Facebook and Twitter as well every Wednesday. And it's been a heck of a show here for 125. And I tell you what, guys, until next time,
bring Hard Knocks. We got to have Hard Knocks.
Be a fan.